Hello students, today we will understand the concept and scope of community nutrition and also get an understanding on the role and responsibilities of a community worker. The study of nutrition crosses boundaries from the most basic of laboratory sciences to an understanding of global, economic and political interactions among the nations. It takes nothing away from the importance of scientific research into the basic mechanisms of nutrient metabolism to assert that the nutrition problems in the developing countries cannot be solved in the laboratory or the clinic alone. The constraints to populations achieving nutritional health fall in the economic, social, cultural and behavioral realms. In the lack of access to the food, it is its inappropriate distribution among and within households, and adaptive food and health practices. The skills and knowledge needed to help address these constraints are quite different from those of the laboratory scientist or the medical practitioner. They require a different kind of training from that associated with the science of nutrition. What is public nutrition? It is defined as a new field which encompasses the range of factors known to influence nutrition in the populations, including diet and health. It also includes social, cultural and behavioral factors and the economic and political context. Like public health, public nutrition would focus on problem solving in a real world setting, making it by definition an applied field of study whose success is measured in terms of effectiveness in improving nutritional conditions. More recent approaches have been based on the assumption that nutrition problems will be solved by incorporating nutrition concerns into a wide variety of disciplines as they are translated into action. For example, when consumption issues are integrated into agricultural policies. Public nutrition has a distinct identity, incorporating the relevant aspects of the variety of disciplines that bear on the nutritional problem, as well as incorporating scientific advances in the understanding of nutritional problems. Coming to community nutrition, it is modern and comprehensive profession that includes but not limited to public health nutrition, dietetics, nutrition education and medical nutrition therapy. It deals with variety of food and nutrition issues which are related to individuals, families and special groups that have a common link, such as maybe a place of residence, language, culture or any other health issues. There is an increasing need to focus on community in health promotion and disease prevention because behavior is highly influenced by the environment in which people live. The local values, the behavior patterns have significant effect on shaping an individual's attitude and behavior. The increasing movement towards using a community approach requires community nutritionists to become more visible and more vocal leaders of the community health. However, before community nutrition can participate in nutrition and healthcare planning, they must be knowledgeable about the concept of community as a client. The concept of community varies widely. Now let us see what are the different roles and responsibilities of a community worker. A community worker is a qualified person who through professional training and field education has the knowledge, skills and values to work in a social welfare agency or a program which is intended to promote or restore the social functioning of either individuals, families, social groups or any other larger communities. The community worker has a variety of roles which can be broadly categorized into 5 major functions as follows, such as organizer, advocating, challenger, developer and supporter. These can be arranged on a continuum from the directive intervention to an active but non-directive approach. The role which the worker plays on any occasion depends on the range of factors in the situation, but most importantly on how she or he can help other people to get things done. Coming to the role of an organizer, in this initial stage of helping a group to set up, the community worker might adopt the rather directive role of an organizer, taking on the responsibility for getting things done, started by arranging meetings, sending out publicity, organizing positive action measures such as childcare, and also interpreting the arrangements. Often community workers will do much of the behind the scenes, that is organization for a program, following up with contacts, undertaking administrative tasks such as bookkeeping, servicing meetings, producing a newsletter, or generally ensuring that the group members maintain contact with one another. The second role is advocating. This should be a rare role of the community workers, whose aim is usually to enable people to speak for themselves and develop a collective voice in negotiating any situations. Sometimes, however, there can be constraints or pressures which justify the worker speaking on behalf of others to argue for a position based on a degree of consultation and consensus. Circumstances which might support this option might be the lack of time in the decision-making process, where the people affected by a decision have had time to gain the confidence and skills over their own views in what might be an intimating forum. Or there may be access issues which cannot be overcome with the time and resource currently available. The worker should be careful in the role of to advocate that they do not go beyond their mandate to represent the views of the others. The next role is of a challenger, which is one of the chief purposes of a community worker is to change things, particularly to question and combat current inequalities in the distribution of power and resources. The worker therefore sometimes has to play a role in challenging prejudices, practicing or policies which have the effect of discriminating against some sections of society. People often hold attitudes and assumptions about themselves and others, which perpetuate disadvantages and oppression. These might be expressed through language which is offensive or through hostile or patronizing behavior. Thereby, the community worker should challenge these in a variety of ways, including humor, private discussions, maybe open debate, policy proposals, and modeling anti-oppressive practices. In adopting this role, the worker must also be prepared to deal with other conflicts, resentments, or feelings of disempowerment that result, and to recognize that the role of a challenger can be both uncomfortable and controversial. Next is developer. The community worker should usually be trying to move their professional relationship with users to be more than that of a developer. The key aspect to this role is that the worker is enabling the people she or he is working with to acquire new capabilities and enhance their existing skills, knowledge, and understanding. This process might be through encouraging people to share these and with those in the group, learning through role play or observation, or through more formal training opportunities. Often this involves working closely alongside individual members of a group on a particular task or a given program, support and feedback so that they eventually feel confident to perform the task on their own. Informed discussions or workshops also provide opportunities for people to share and develop their knowledge by reflecting on their own experience and gaining information on specific areas of public life. The next role is of a supporter. This role involves more interpersonal methods of working, such as counseling, advising, building self-esteem, and generally encouraging people to work through difficult situations. It might include talking through an idea or a problem with an individual or a group, listening to someone's grievances, staying in touch with a member of a group who is experiencing difficulties in their life and not able to attend regularly, being friendly and accessible point of contact between people in the community and the employing organization, or simply ensuring that people can make use of facilities and resources that they need in their work. When in the role of a supporter, contact between the worker and the community users will normally be on the initiative and terms of the users. As such, the worker will not have specific goals other than to provide emotional and practical support for the user in their chosen course of action. Utilizing interventions that promote health and prevent communicable or chronic diseases by managing or controlling the community's environment. Channeling funds and energy to problems that affect the lives of the largest number of people in the community. Also seeking out unserved or underserved populations and those who are vulnerable to disease, hunger or malnutrition. Collaborating with the public, consumers, community leaders, legislators, policymakers, and health and human service professionals to assess and to respond to the community needs and consumer demands. Monitoring the public or community health in relation to public health objectives and continuously addressing current and future needs. This requires planning, organizing, managing, directing, coordinating, and evaluating the nutrition components of health agency services. Healthcare is the maintenance of improvement of health via the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of disease. And also in the human beings, the healthcare is delivered by the professionals, that is the providers or practitioners. It includes work done providing primary, secondary and tertiary as well as the public health. Access to healthcare varies across countries, groups and individuals, which is largely influenced by the social and economic conditions as well as the health policies in that particular place. The health centers are organizations which are established to meet the health needs of a target population. Their exact configuration varies between national and subnational entities. In all cases, according to the WHO, a well-functioning healthcare system requires robust financing mechanism, a well-trained and adequately paid workforce, reliable information on which to base decisions and policies, as well as maintaining the health facilities and logistics to deliver quality medicines and technology. What are the different types of healthcare? We have three different types: primary, secondary and tertiary. The primary care clinician will be able to point out the contact in the health system. A primary care clinician may be a doctor, dentist, nurse or any other health professional or a pharmacist. This level of care may be provided in a general practice, community or any health center. It may also include health promotion, health education or prevention. Depending on the person's health condition, they may be referred on to secondary or tertiary care. The secondary health care is provided by the medical specialists and other health professionals who do not have first contact with the patients and are considered as providers of secondary care. This include acute care, which is considered short term, and the treatment of a serious injury or a period of illness. Secondary health care can also refer to ongoing services not necessarily provided in the hospital, such as physiotherapists and other occupational therapists. Then comes the tertiary healthcare, which is highly specialized healthcare system, often for inpatients and on referral from a primary or secondary health professional. It is considered a tertiary care. This often includes particularly complex medical or surgical procedure. Now coming to the scope of community nutrition. For community nutritionists to accomplish these actions, they need to acquire normal and clinical nutrition knowledge and be skilled in educating the public regarding changes in the eating behavior. The minimum education requirement for a community nutritionist includes a bachelor's degree in foods and nutrition or dietetics from a accredited college or university and a Master of Public Health degree with a major in nutrition or a Master of Science degree in applied human nutrition. with minor in public health or community health. Some community nutrition positions require certification as a registered dietitian or as an advanced degree in nutrition. Academic training includes knowledge of biostatistics and skill in collecting, analyzing, and reporting demographic, health, and food nutrition data. The community nutritionist must understand the epidemiology of health and disease patterns in the population as well as trends of disease over a long period of time. She or he must be knowledgeable about the principles of health education, program planning, program evaluation, community organization, management, and marketing. Now, marketing skills are very important because they help the nutritionists know how to convey effective nutrition messages using a variety of media formats for their audiences. Community nutritionists must keep current with advances in research and food and nutrition sciences and changing practices in public health. In some situations, the dietetic technicians or the registered are employed in the food service area, clinical settings, and community settings. They may assist the community nutritionist or the registered dietitian in determining the community's nutritional needs and in providing community nutrition programs and services. At a minimum, they must have an associate degree from an approved educational program. After that, they must successfully complete a national examination which is administered by the Commission on Dietetic Registration. Both community and public health nutritionists provide a wide variety of nutrition services through government and non-government agencies at the local, state, national, and international levels. In most cases, the activities require multitasking roles such as blood pressure screening, diet counseling, medical nutrition therapy. At the international levels, duties may include education on sanitation, water purification, gardening, so on and so forth. Now coming to the places of employment for public health and community nutritionists. They can work in official community settings or voluntary agencies to promote health, prevent disease, conduct epidemiological research, and provide both primary and secondary preventive care. At the government agencies, they can work at public health department, cooperative extensions, social or human service agencies, nutrition and food assistant programs, food shelves and emergency meal programs, school breakfast and lunch programs, student health services, and nutrition and health education curriculum. They can also work at daycare centers and Head Start programs which include child and adult care food program. Community not-for-profit organizations such as voluntary health organizations, cancer societies, heart associations. When it comes to business and industry, they can work in various food corporations, food producers, and commodity groups. Coming to the healthcare organizations, they can work at hospitals, clinics, community health centers, home health agencies, and also managed care organizations. The following are the examples of nutritionists or public health nutritionists which can be employed at the state level, national and international levels. At the state level, they can work in cooperative extensive services, home health care agencies, the hospital outpatient nutrition education department to reduce the incidence of chronic diseases such as those which require a reduction in saturated fat or in cardiovascular disease prevention. They can also work at local public health agencies, community health centers, private health agencies, wellness programs to prevent the nutrient-related health conditions. At the national and regional level, they can work at Food and Drug Administration, Department of Agriculture, Department of Health and Human Services. Whereas at the international level, they can work at Food and Agriculture Organization, United Nations Children's Emergency Fund, and also World Food Agencies and WHO. Community needs assessment is a process to evaluate the health and nutritional status of a community, finding the real health and nutrition need and to discover the places that lack these needs. There are certain steps which are needed to do this assessment. First is to define the nutritional problem. Find out what is the actual problem of the community before doing any assessment. The second step is to set parameters of assessment, that is, to identify the specific area to which the data needs to be obtained. The third important step is to collect the data. Before collecting any data, the real scope has to be to identify the collection of the data and then proceed to the people whom make the target population. Coming to the community, the data based on quantitative and qualitative can be derived directly from the community itself. The background conditions, that is the living situation of the community, may affect their selection of diet, how the population live, and where they get their medical attention. All this affected their health and nutritional status. The influence of belief, human knowledge, and people perception may also result in determining the target population diet intake. Coming to the individuals who represent the target population, use the data which already exists and also collect the data concerning the target population because the data is non-existent. Finally, it is analyzed and interpreted. The data which is collected about the community and the background conditions that influence the target population needs to be analyzed and examined before being compared with the data obtained from the aimed population and compiling together to make an extensive report. The data obtained from this assessment is very useful to create alert on the specific places, nutritional problems, and besides it may build cooperation among the organizations and agencies and many others. After this assessment is done, the researcher or the community worker should know where to give it an effort to make sure that there is always an improvement in the health of the population. Finally, a plan of action is chosen. The nutritionist has to share the findings with the people whom concerned with the health of the targeted population. From there, the way to improve the condition can be found and the problem of the target population can be reduced to the minimal level. Since nutrition is an essential aspect of the conditions in which people can be healthy, public health nutrition is a part of public health system. Community nutrition efforts involve a wide range of programs that provide increased access to food resources, nutrition information, education, and health-related care. They also include efforts to change behavior and environment and to initiate policies. The term community nutrition is often used to reflect the wide range of delivery settings and sponsoring organizations for nutrition-related programs and services. It can be directed to individuals or groups in the community. Community nutrition encompasses a broad set of activities which are designed to provide access to a safe, adequate, healthy diet to a population living in a particular geographic area. These activities, as we had previously discussed, include nutrition education, health promotion, and also supplementation programs and other policies. Thereby, community nutritionists translate general recommendations into action. They are bound together across geographic or common interest boundaries by a shared set of values, field strategies, and educational experiences. Community nutrition also have an understanding of the appreciation of dietetic and clinical practices, and therefore they form an integral to nutrition as a discipline because it is where the nutrition professional works to ensure that nutrition in fact is a true to an agenda in serving the people. And community nutritionists simply enact the changes that the nutritionists want to see in the world.